Good, everyone. Life is not always easy. We all face challenges that test us, push us to our limits, and sometimes make us feel like giving up. But it is in these hard moments that we learn the most about ourselves. Today, I want to share 7 life lessons that can help us keep going, no matter how tough life gets. Accepting what you cannot change is one of the most powerful lessons you can learn in life, and yet it is one of the hardest to practice. Human nature pushes us to resist difficulties, to fight against circumstances we dislike, and to struggle endlessly against events that are beyond our control. We want life to follow a certain path, to meet our expectations, and when it does not, we feel frustrated, angry, or helpless. But the truth is that some things are simply outside of our influence. Natural disasters, the choices of others, sudden loss, and unforeseen events all happen regardless of our wishes or desires. Recognizing this fact does not mean giving up or being passive. It means redirecting your energy from futile resistance toward the things you can influence: your actions, your attitude, and your mindset. Accepting what cannot be changed is not surrender. It is a way to conserve strength and focus it on what matters. When you struggle against the unchangeable, you only exhaust yourself and create unnecessary suffering. Fighting against reality is like trying to push a river upstream. No matter how much effort you put in, the current will keep moving. The harder you resist, the more frustrated you become. But when you accept it, when you allow reality to be as it is, you can use the current instead of wasting energy fighting it. Acceptance also allows clarity. When you are caught up in resistance, your mind becomes clouded with anger, fear, or disappointment. Thoughts become scattered, and it becomes difficult to see a clear path forward. But once you acknowledge that some things cannot be altered, your mind can settle. You begin to see what is within your control, what choices you can make, and how you can respond wisely. This clarity can turn despair into action. For example, losing a job may feel like a crushing blow, something unfair and beyond your control. You cannot undo the loss, and you cannot control the decision that was made. But you can control how you respond. You can update your skills, search for new opportunities, and take steps to secure your future. Acceptance allows you to focus on these actions rather than waste time and energy on blame or resentment. Another aspect of acceptance is understanding that life is inherently unpredictable. Change is constant, and nothing lasts forever. People come and go, circumstances shift, and the world does not bend to our will. Accepting this truth frees you from attachment to outcomes and allows you to meet challenges with a calm and steady mind. It also reduces suffering caused by unrealistic expectations. When you expect life to always go your way, disappointment becomes inevitable. But when you accept that difficulty and uncertainty are part of the human experience, you meet life as it is, rather than how you wish it to be. Practicing acceptance is a daily exercise. It is not always easy to acknowledge that certain events are outside your control, especially when emotions run high. It requires patience, self-awareness, and the willingness to observe reality honestly. You may notice yourself resisting situations repeatedly, thinking that if only things were different, life would be easier. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward acceptance. It takes courage to look at circumstances clearly and say, "I cannot change this, but I can change how I respond." Over time, this practice builds resilience. You begin to realize that your inner peace does not depend on external events, but on your ability to accept reality as it is. You stop being tossed by every setback or disappointment, and you develop the ability to remain steady, calm, and focused even in the most difficult situations. Accepting what cannot be changed is also closely tied to freedom. Freedom does not mean controlling everything around you. It means freeing yourself from the chains of frustration, anger, and fear that come from trying to control the uncontrollable. When you accept life as it comes, you liberate your mind and energy to act wisely, with purpose and clarity. Focusing on the present moment is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to live a stronger, calmer, and more effective life. So often, people find themselves trapped in the past, replaying mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities over and over in their minds. They become consumed by what could have been, or what should have been, letting the weight of yesterday's failures or disappointments shape how they feel today. At other times, The mind drifts constantly toward the future, worrying about what might happen, imagining problems that have not yet arrived, or fearing outcomes that may never occur. This constant movement between the past and the future steals our energy and focus, leaving little room to act or think clearly in the only moment that truly exists, the present. The truth is that the past cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain. The only time you have real power over is now. When you focus on the present moment, you reclaim control over your actions and your thoughts. You are able to respond deliberately, rather than react impulsively, and you begin to notice the opportunities that are right in front of you. Each moment contains choices and possibilities, but if your mind is elsewhere, those moments pass unnoticed. Learning to stay present requires attention and practice. It begins with observing your thoughts without judgment, noticing when your mind drifts to past regrets or future fears, and gently bringing it back to the now. It also involves paying attention to your surroundings, your body, and your actions. When you fully engage in what you are doing, whether working, listening to someone, walking, or even eating, you become more aware and more effective. Life becomes richer because you experience it directly instead of through a fog of memory or imagination. Focusing on the present also reduces unnecessary suffering. Worry and regret are heavy burdens, but they exist only in the mind. By returning to the current moment, you free yourself from anxieties that have no immediate reality. For instance, when facing a difficult task, instead of thinking about all the ways it might fail or imagining the stress of tomorrow, you can focus on what needs to be done right now. By taking one small, deliberate step at a time, the task becomes manageable, and the fear begins to lose its power. This approach also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will always come, but a mind trained to focus on the present is less likely to be overwhelmed. You learn to handle difficulties as they arise, rather than drowning in worry about what may or may not happen. Present, focused thinking encourages practical action rather than endless rumination, and it allows you to conserve energy for the things you can influence, rather than wasting it on what you cannot. Furthermore, focusing on the present moment deepens appreciation. So often, people rush through life, missing the small joys that exist all around them: a kind word from a friend, a quiet morning, the warmth of sunlight, or the simple act of breathing. By being present, you notice these details, and life becomes fuller and more meaningful. It also strengthens relationships because you are truly listening and fully engaged when interacting with others, rather than distracted by past conversations or future plans. Cultivating presence is not about ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It is about understanding where your energy matters most. You can learn from yesterday without being trapped in it, and you can plan for tomorrow without being paralyzed by it. The present is where life happens, where choices are made, and where action leads to results. Practicing this focus requires consistency and patience. The mind naturally wanders, and you may find yourself slipping into old patterns of distraction or worry. The key is to notice when it happens and gently return your attention to the current moment. Over time, this practice strengthens your awareness, self-control, and clarity, allowing you to approach challenges calmly and make decisions with purpose. Pain is an unavoidable part of life, yet most people spend much of their energy trying to avoid it. From small disappointments to major losses, pain touches everyone at some point. It is easy to see pain as the enemy, something to resist or escape. When difficulties arise, the natural reaction is to feel frustrated, upset, or angry. But if we shift our perspective, we can see that pain is not merely something to endure. It is a teacher, a guide that shows us where we need to grow, and an opportunity to become stronger and wiser. Life does not promise comfort, and expecting it to be easy only leads to disappointment. Every challenge, every setback, every difficult moment contains a lesson if we are willing to look for it. Pain often forces us to examine ourselves, to confront our weaknesses, and to question our habits and beliefs. It is in moments of struggle that we are most likely to discover our resilience, courage, and patience. When we experience hardship, we are presented with a choice to let it break us or to let it shape us. Choosing the latter is the essence of learning from pain. This does not mean that pain is pleasant or that it should be sought after. It simply means that resistance is not the only way to respond. Accepting pain as part of life allows us to meet it with clarity, rather than panic or despair. Pain can also teach perspective. Many of the difficulties we face seem overwhelming at first, but when we look back on previous struggles, we often see that we were stronger than we realized. Each painful experience provides a reference point, a reminder that we are capable of enduring and overcoming more than we thought possible. Recognizing this can give us confidence and calm when facing new challenges. Moreover, pain can clarify what truly matters. It often strips away distractions, forcing us to focus on what is essential: our values, our relationships, our goals, and our personal integrity. When life is comfortable and easy, it is tempting to take these things for granted. Hardship removes the veil, allowing us to see what is most important and to act accordingly. Pain also builds empathy. Experiencing suffering helps us understand the struggles of others, making us more compassionate and patient. It reminds us that everyone faces battles we may not see, and that kindness and understanding are valuable tools in navigating life. Enduring pain strengthens discipline and mental toughness. It teaches us to persist even when the situation is uncomfortable or frightening. When we face difficulty repeatedly and continue to act with patience and courage, we develop a resilience that cannot be taken away. This resilience is not just for surviving pain, it is the foundation for achieving meaningful goals, maintaining composure in crisis, and leading a purposeful life. Pain can inspire growth in ways comfort never will. When everything comes easily, we may not be forced to adapt, improve, or change. Pain demands that we confront limitations, reconsider strategies, and learn new skills. It becomes a catalyst for personal development and transformation. By embracing pain as a natural part of life and seeing it as a teacher rather than an enemy, we begin to shift our relationship with difficulty. Instead of fearing it, we can face it with a calm mind and a willing heart. Over time, this approach reduces suffering caused by resistance and regret. It allows us to see challenges not as punishments or unfair obstacles, but as essential experiences that shape our character, deepen our understanding, and strengthen our ability to face whatever life brings. Learning from pain requires patience, reflection, and courage. It requires the ability to pause, to ask what the experience is teaching us, and to act in a way that aligns with wisdom rather than impulse. Through this practice, we transform suffering into strength and adversity into growth, recognizing that the most valuable lessons in life often come wrapped in difficulty. Controlling your mind, rather than trying to control the world around you, is one of the most powerful ways to live with strength, clarity, and peace. Many people spend their lives trying to change circumstances, influence others, or manipulate situations to fit their desires. They focus on external events, believing that happiness or success depends on them. But the truth is that the world is unpredictable, and most events are beyond our influence. People behave in ways we cannot predict, situations change unexpectedly, and life unfolds according to forces outside our control. Trying to force outcomes only leads to frustration, disappointment, and wasted energy. Instead, the greatest power lies within controlling your own mind, your thoughts, your reactions, and your perspective. By focusing on what you can control, you gain stability and freedom. You begin to realize that no matter what happens externally, you have the ability to choose how you respond. This is the foundation of true strength. Controlling your mind does not mean suppressing emotions or denying reality. It means observing your thoughts and feelings without letting them dictate your actions impulsively. Anger, fear, and frustration may arise, but you can decide whether to act on them in a destructive way or to pause, reflect, and respond wisely. When you master this skill, external events lose their power to disturb you. A setback at work, a harsh word from someone, or an unexpected challenge does not control your mood or your peace of mind. You retain the ability to act with calm, patience, and clarity. This control also allows you to think strategically. When the mind is chaotic, clouded by emotion, or focused on things outside your influence, decisions are often reactive and short-sighted. A mind that is disciplined and aware can analyze situations clearly, make deliberate choices, and respond in ways that are effective rather than impulsive. Controlling your mind requires practice and self-awareness. It involves recognizing when your thoughts drift toward worry, resentment, or blame, and gently redirecting your focus to what you can influence. It also requires observing patterns of thinking that are harmful or unhelpful, such as obsessing over the past or fearing the future, and training yourself to replace them with rational, constructive perspectives. Another important aspect is emotional regulation. Emotions themselves are not bad, but uncontrolled emotions can drive poor decisions and unnecessary suffering. By learning to notice your feelings without being overwhelmed by them, you create space to respond deliberately. This allows you to remain composed even in stressful or challenging situations, which in turn improves relationships, problem-solving, and resilience. Controlling your mind also fosters freedom from attachment to outcomes. When your peace and happiness depend on events outside your control, you are vulnerable to disappointment. But when your mind is disciplined, your sense of well-being comes from your own actions and attitude, not from external circumstances. You begin to understand that true control is internal, not external. Over time, this practice strengthens patience, wisdom, and resilience. Life will always present difficulties, but a mind trained to focus on what it can control remains steady and purposeful. You are able to meet challenges calmly, make better choices, and maintain inner peace in the face of uncertainty. By focusing on controlling your own mind, you reduce suffering caused by frustration, fear, and resentment. You stop wasting energy on trying to force outcomes or manipulate others, and instead channel that energy into purposeful action, reflection, and growth. This mindset creates a foundation for living with clarity, courage, and effectiveness, allowing you to navigate life's inevitable challenges with strength and dignity, and to find peace even when the external world is unpredictable and chaotic. Keeping perspective is one of the most important skills when facing life's challenges, yet it is also one of the most overlooked. When difficulties arise, it is easy to feel trapped in the moment, as though the problem is endless and unbearable. Emotions can magnify the situation, making obstacles appear larger than they truly are. This is why perspective is crucial. It allows us to step back, see the bigger picture, and understand that most problems are temporary and manageable. Life is full of ups and downs. No situation lasts forever, no matter how intense it may seem. The moments that feel overwhelming today are often the same ones that, in retrospect, reveal growth, learning, and unexpected opportunities. By reminding yourself that challenges are part of life's natural rhythm, you can reduce panic and anxiety and respond more calmly. Perspective also helps us distinguish between what truly matters and what is insignificant. Often, we become consumed by small frustrations or minor setbacks, forgetting that they occupy only a fraction of the larger story of our lives. By focusing on the bigger picture, we avoid wasting energy on things that will not matter in a week, a month, or a year. This does not mean ignoring problems or avoiding responsibility. It means choosing wisely where to invest your attention and effort. Another aspect of perspective is recognizing that difficulties are rarely permanent. Even situations that seem hopeless have the potential to change over time. Circumstances shift, people act in unexpected ways, and opportunities arise when we least anticipate them. When you hold a long-term view, temporary hardships lose their ability to overwhelm you, and you can approach challenges with patience and persistence, rather than fear or despair. Keeping perspective also strengthens resilience. When you see setbacks as part of a larger journey, rather than as catastrophic failures, you are more likely to keep moving forward. You understand that one difficult event does not define you or your life. This mindset encourages perseverance and helps you remain focused on meaningful goals, even when immediate results are disappointing or delayed. Perspective allows for emotional balance as well. Strong reactions to difficulties often come from seeing a problem as bigger than it is. By stepping back and examining the situation with a broader view, you can reduce stress, fear, and anger. You can respond with rationality instead of emotion, making decisions that serve you rather than those that merely react to temporary discomfort. It also helps to compare challenges with previous experiences. Looking back at difficulties you have overcome before provides evidence that you can endure and adapt. It reminds you of your own strength and resourcefulness, building confidence to face current or future obstacles. Keeping perspective is closely tied to gratitude. Even in hard times, recognizing the parts of life that remain positive or stable helps you balance your view. Focusing solely on the negative distorts reality and intensifies suffering, while a balanced perspective allows for clearer thinking, better decisions, and emotional resilience. This practice also encourages humility. Life's challenges remind us that control is limited and that events do not always align with our desires. A broader perspective helps us accept what we cannot change, maintain patience, and focus on what we can influence. In addition, perspective allows for creative problem solving. When we step back from the intensity of the moment, we often see solutions that were hidden when we were consumed by frustration or fear. Problems that seemed unsolvable can appear manageable when examined from a calm and rational viewpoint. Over time, cultivating perspective becomes a habit. You begin to naturally approach difficulties with a wider lens, seeing temporary setbacks as part of the flow of life, maintaining emotional balance, and making deliberate choices rather than reacting impulsively. You learn to navigate challenges with patience, wisdom, and resilience, understanding that even the hardest moments are part of a larger journey that continues to unfold beyond the immediate struggle. Taking small steps every day is one of the most practical and effective ways to overcome challenges, even when the situation feels overwhelming. Life's difficulties often appear enormous when viewed as a whole, and it is easy to become paralyzed by the magnitude of the problem. When facing a complex task, a personal struggle, or a long-term goal, thinking only about the end result can create fear, anxiety, and doubt. The mind may convince you that you are not capable of achieving what lies ahead, leading to procrastination or inaction. The key to moving forward lies in breaking down the challenge into smaller, manageable actions. By focusing on one step at a time, you gain momentum, build confidence, and make steady progress even when circumstances seem impossible. Each small action may seem insignificant on its own, but when repeated consistently, it accumulates into meaningful results. Small steps reduce overwhelm because they make the problem tangible and approachable. Instead of being consumed by the enormity of a goal, you focus on what can be done right now. This approach shifts your attention from worry about the future to practical action in the present. It also strengthens discipline. Habits are built not through grand gestures but through repeated effort over time. By taking small, deliberate steps consistently, you develop a routine of action, self-control, and persistence that carries over into other areas of life. Even when progress seems slow, each step is a signal that you are moving forward, and this creates motivation to continue. Taking small steps every day also builds resilience. Life rarely allows immediate success, and setbacks are inevitable. When you break challenges into smaller parts, setbacks feel less catastrophic because you can adjust and continue. You learn to adapt and keep moving, rather than being paralyzed by failure or disappointment. This method teaches patience as well. Many people expect instant results and give up when progress does not happen quickly. By embracing incremental progress, you cultivate a long-term perspective and learn to value consistency over immediate gratification. Over time, patience becomes a habit and perseverance becomes natural. Small steps encourage focus and clarity. When faced with a large challenge, it is easy for the mind to scatter, trying to handle too many things at once. Concentrating on the next small action narrows your focus, allowing you to act deliberately and effectively. Each completed step reinforces your sense of control and accomplishment, which in turn strengthens your ability to tackle the next one. Another important aspect is that small steps build confidence. Every action, no matter how minor, is evidence that you are capable of progress. This confidence grows cumulatively, making larger and more difficult challenges feel achievable. It reminds you that you are not helpless and that effort, however modest, produces results. Small steps also reduce fear. When the mind anticipates the enormity of a challenge, it can generate anxiety that prevents action. By focusing on what can be done immediately, you bypass fear and create a sense of forward motion. This makes even the most intimidating tasks manageable, and you gain clarity on the path ahead. Finally, taking small steps every day reinforces a mindset of persistence. Life is full of obstacles, delays, and disappointments, but those who continue to act consistently, even in small ways, are the ones who ultimately overcome challenges. Progress is rarely dramatic at first, but it compounds over time, leading to significant growth and achievement. By embracing daily, deliberate action, you harness the power of consistency, build strength through effort, and maintain hope even when the path seems long and difficult. Each small step, taken with intention, brings you closer to your goal and shapes you into a person capable of facing whatever comes next. Hardships build character in ways that comfort and ease never can. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected difficulties, and while they are often unwelcome, they play a vital role in shaping who we become. When everything comes easily, there is little pressure to develop patience, resilience, or discipline. It is through struggle, failure, and adversity that people discover their inner strength and grow into their full potential. Every hardship, whether large or small, tests the qualities that define us: our courage, our integrity, our perseverance, and our ability to act wisely under pressure. When faced with obstacles, it is natural to feel frustrated, fearful, or even defeated. These emotions are not weaknesses. They are signals that we are encountering a challenge that requires growth. By choosing to confront hardship rather than avoid it, we learn more about ourselves, our limits, and our capabilities. Hardships teach resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks and continue moving forward. Life does not guarantee smooth paths, and every person will face difficulties at some point. Those who develop resilience through experience become stronger, more confident, and better equipped to handle future challenges. The lessons learned through struggle are often more lasting than any success achieved without effort. Hardship also cultivates patience. Many challenges cannot be solved instantly or easily. They require time, effort, and persistence. By enduring difficulty and working steadily, we develop the ability to wait without frustration, to endure without complaint, and to remain calm even when circumstances are demanding. This patience becomes a lifelong skill, allowing us to navigate not only external obstacles, but also internal struggles such as fear, doubt, and impulsiveness. Character is further shaped by the choices we make during hardship. When facing difficulty, we are presented with options. We can respond with anger, blame, or avoidance, or we can act with integrity, courage, and thoughtfulness. Choosing the latter strengthens our moral compass and builds self-respect. Hardship reveals true character because it strips away pretense. Comfort and success can hide flaws, but adversity exposes weaknesses and requires the development of virtues. It teaches humility, showing us that we are not always in control and that life does not bend to our will. Hardships also develop empathy. Experiencing suffering firsthand allows us to understand the struggles of others more deeply. We become more compassionate, patient, and willing to help because we know what it feels like to endure difficulty. This empathy strengthens relationships and enhances our ability to connect with people in meaningful ways. Another aspect of character building through hardship is creativity and problem solving. Difficult situations force us to think in new ways, adapt to changing circumstances, and find solutions we might never have considered in comfortable conditions. Hardship encourages flexibility, resourcefulness, and ingenuity, all of which strengthen our ability to navigate life effectively. Overcoming obstacles also builds confidence. Each time we face adversity and persist, we accumulate evidence that we are capable of handling challenges. This confidence is not arrogance. It is a quiet assurance rooted in experience, reminding us that we have the strength, skill, and resilience to face what comes next. Hardship, when approached with the right mindset, becomes a teacher, a guide, and a forge in which our character is strengthened. It is not the suffering itself that defines us, but how we respond to it, what we learn from it, and the person we become in the process. By embracing difficulties rather than avoiding them, we allow life's challenges to shape us into individuals who are stronger, wiser, and more capable of living with purpose, integrity, and resilience. Never stop moving forward is a principle that underpins every success, every personal growth, and every moment of resilience in life. Challenges, setbacks, failures, and losses are inevitable, and at times they may feel overwhelming. It is natural to want to pause, to retreat, or even to give up entirely. But stopping in the face of difficulty allows doubt, fear, and regret to grow. Moving forward, even in the smallest ways, is how progress is made and how strength is built. Forward movement does not require grand gestures or dramatic changes. It begins with a decision to act and to take the next step and to continue despite uncertainty or discomfort. Life is rarely linear and progress often appears slow or uneven. Yet, consistent action, no matter how small, creates momentum. One step leads to another, and before long, what once seemed impossible becomes attainable. Stopping, by contrast, often leads to stagnation. When we dwell on failure, ruminate on setbacks, or wait for perfect conditions, life continues to move around us. Opportunities pass, and potential remains unrealized. Moving forward is not just about achieving goals, it is about maintaining agency over your own life. It is a declaration that, no matter the circumstances, you will not be defeated by them, and you will continue to act, learn, and grow. Perseverance is strengthened by commitment to forward movement. Each time you choose to keep going despite obstacles, you reinforce your ability to endure challenges in the future. This repeated practice builds resilience, confidence, and self-reliance. Moving forward teaches patience, because progress often requires sustained effort over time. The path may be difficult, progress may be slow, and results may not appear immediately, but the act of continuing creates a foundation for eventual success. Even small actions compound over time, creating significant outcomes. Forward movement also encourages adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and challenges often force us to adjust our strategies, perspectives, and actions. By continuing to move, even when circumstances change, we learn flexibility and resourcefulness. Stagnation, in contrast, limits our ability to respond effectively to new situations. Another critical aspect is learning from mistakes and setbacks while continuing to act. Failure is not permanent unless we allow it to halt our progress. Every failure provides information, feedback, and insight. By moving forward, we apply what we have learned, refining our approach and increasing the likelihood of success. The mindset of never stopping also fosters courage. Fear often arises when we consider the unknown or face uncertainty. Moving forward despite fear strengthens bravery and mental fortitude. It reminds us that action, even in the presence of doubt, is more powerful than inaction. Continuously moving forward keeps hope alive. When we act, we create possibilities. When we pause indefinitely, despair can take hold. Each step forward, however small, reinforces the belief that change is possible and that circumstances can improve with effort and persistence. This approach is particularly important when facing repeated or prolonged challenges. Life may not provide immediate relief, but steady movement ensures that we remain engaged in shaping our path rather than being passive observers. It also reinforces self-discipline. Choosing to act consistently, even when motivation is low, trains the mind to prioritize purpose over comfort and long-term goals over short-term convenience. Moving forward is about cultivating a mindset that refuses to be paralyzed by fear, disappointment, or uncertainty. It is about finding strength in action, clarity in progress, and confidence in persistence. By refusing to stop, we maintain control over our lives, harness the power of consistent effort, and create a trajectory toward growth, learning, and achievement. Each step taken, no matter how small, is a statement of resilience, courage, and determination, a commitment to continue shaping our lives, even when the path is difficult, uncertain, or filled with obstacles.